I know you want to know which heist gives you the most money. We've already ranked the heist on which gives you the most XP, and I even went as far to rank each individual loot. But if you want in-game money, then what is the best heist to do? Hello and welcome all to yet another Payday 2 ranking video where I rank certain aspects of the game from worst to best. Some of the lists are extremely subjective, like the music, perk deck, skills and heists, but some are actual facts, like XP and money. All past and future ranking videos are available in the playlist linked in the description below, and if you like these types of videos, please make sure you subscribe as there are many more to come. So let's get into the always wonderful subject of money. Money in Payday 2, also be said a heisting game where cash should probably be considered king. Actually, it isn't that useful after a certain point. Payday 2 took an odd turn that made in-game money almost useless, removing the need to pay for skills, only now needing cash to pay for weapons and heists, spending cash for weapons and offshore cash for heists. Both of these, once you've done a fair few heists successfully, you will have more than enough to buy whatever you would like multiple times over. But regardless of that, let's look into how money and heists actually work. First off, there are 77 different heists, holy shit, in which you can obtain a cash payout. Each contract offers a contract payout, which like all other aspects of the game is scalable to the difficulty selected. Here are the difficult multipliers for contract pay and how that increases. Within Heist there are also baggable loot and loose cash. The baggable loot also scales to difficulty but with a slightly different scale shown right here. What happens after the contract pay, baggable and secured loot along with picking up loose cash is that it's all put together in one big pot. This pot is yours, my friend, and then split 80% to your offshore account and then 20% to your spending cash account. The differentiator within all this now is how much loot you actually pick up on each heist. Completing quickly and grabbing limited loot will severely restrict the loot portion of the payout, as a potential loot will of course not be added to your total. With that, it goes without saying that to get the max loot numbers you will have to secure the max loot possible. Two things with this is that one, I won't be adding in the loose cash to these totals. Some loose cash on bank heist, golden grin, etc. It's too difficult to calculate the actual impact, even though it can have a slight difference overall, but not much. If you do intend on grabbing all of this to increase the overall bounty, then please make sure you grab the Chameleon Ace skill, which adds an extra 30% to whatever you pick up. This also applies to ATMs, moving them from 300,000 to 390,000 each. Second is that we still have to deal with the heists that have an almost unlimited capacity for loot, cook-off, counterfeit, Santa's workshop, etc. Just like within the heist XP video, I will limit each one of these heists to securing just 4 extra bags, leveling them out overall but still knowing that they can all be at the top of the list if you want them to be. All of the heists are calculated using maximum baggable loot secured and should create a similar heist time as the 4 bag extras on the endless potential heists. One last thing to mention for loot is crew alive bonus when you play loud heists. You will receive a plus 10% bonus if all of your team members are alive and leave at the end of a heist. It's 6.6% if only 3 make it, 3.3% if only 2 make it, and if you bring it home solo, sorry, no crew alive bonus for you. Alright, let's get started. Last place, Little 4 stores. Low contract and low loot, resulting in the lowest total possible of $860,000. More crashes, same contract payout, slightly more cash. Opportunity for ATMs on this heist if you want to buff these numbers, now a little over $1.3 million. Safe House Nightmare is pretty much a nightmare for cash only, 1.676 million. Jewelry Store doesn't get much better, 1.7 million for your troubles. There's a Nightmare, the first heist on the list with a lot more opportunity if you stick around. This number here is with securing 4 bags of cloaker loot. Safe House Raid only offers a contract payout, no securable loot at all. The first of its kind in the list, and $1.8 million for defending your own house sounds fair. Get the Coke is one of the tutorial heists, but you actually get the Coke and it's worth $460,000. Total is now over 2.2 million. The Easy Ukrainian Job gives slightly more, grab as much loose loot as you can to make this one worth it. The other tutorial is next, Flash Drive, a bag of gold on this one, so worth a little more than the other, almost now 2.5 million. Art Gallery comes next, grab all paintings and leave with a total of $3.3 million, easy money. White Christmas requires no loot, but this is with 4 of the Cokes scattered around secured. Grab Almir's loot and stay for longer to increase this number by a lot. The Little Nightclub is next, loot all the safes and net yourself $3.3 million. The Big Bad White House heist comes next, only contract pay here and no loot for a measly $3.5 million. Cursed Hill Room can be milked for more loot if you want, here we are with the extra 4 bags secured. Stay as long as you like for the boost if needed. No Mercy and Hell's Island are tied for 62 and 63, both no looters, just contract pay. Recommend playing these for XP and not for loot. Santa's Workshop is next, play for the quick money and stay for the great music. Low contract pay but secure 4 extra bags and gets you $4.5 million. Diamond Store drops next with some heavy bag lifting and a bit of loose cash with some ATM potential, totaling now over $4.5 million. Bring your friends and grab all cars for a $5 million payday. Seems about right for some supercars. Now for the first bank heist on the list, and it's the worst one of the bunch. It has the highest contract pay of the regular bank heist, but the lowest loot. Had to include the loose loot pickups on this one, as that is the majority. I will note here that the bank heist random is not on this list, as it just gives you one of the other three instead of being its own entity. Bank heist cash is next, much lower contract pay than the previous, but it has a higher loot count, now totaling 5.8 million for this nice little starter heist. Getting revenge is always sweet. How about $6 million for your efforts? Hoxton Revenge with all the evidence secures, and it's yours. Now we go through the basic transport heists, all of which offer a slightly different contract pay, but all of course similar loot. Harbour is lowest at 6.275 million, then it's Downtown, Underpass, Park, and finally Crossroads with $6.8 million. Empty those deposit boxes and secure all bags on GoBank for a tidy payday of $7 million. Breaking Feds comes next, a lot of people's least favourite stealth heist, but you can bag a nice 7.3 million if you haul every little bit of loot out of the building. Bank Heist Gold sits ahead of its Bank Heist brothers at almost $7.5 million. Breakfast in Tier 1 and the Diamond Heist tie for the next two spots, however, due to the amount of loose diamonds on the Diamond Heist, I just show it one higher here. Both of these supply you with a total of $7.64 million apiece. The always fun and hectic Heat Street comes in next with no loot payout, pure contract, $7.7 million on the nose to be exact. Reservoir Dogs comes next, edging towards $8 million at $7.84 million. The bag moving extravaganza of the Alesso heist gives an extra $50,000 over Reservoir Dogs, now at $7.89 million. One of my favourite heists is next, Birth of Sky. Seems as though we don't get to keep any of those big pallets of cash. No loot on this one, just the contract pay, and it's nice at $8,050,000. Election Day and all its variants can net you almost $8.1 million, grabbing all loot from every spot possible. The Alaskan deal gives you a chilly $8.3 million for everything that's available. Counterfeit is a great one to churn out cash. High contract pay of $8 million, $1 million more for 4 extra loot, and now we're looking at over $9 million total. Plus, if the power doesn't get cut out by the enemies, these things print pretty fast. Drink in the ambience and the nice music. Why not steal some artifacts while you're there? The Yacht Heist is a quick $9.2 million if you know what you're doing. Greenbridge made me do a double take as it showed secured loot, and took me a while to remember that there's actually a genset truck that can be looted. Secure these bags down the chute on the roof to get the most loot possible, and a total of $9.4 million. Undercover, another one of the classic heists, and boasts in the heist that we just did a hack that transferred many millions of dollars. We only get to see 9.45 as our contract pay, and no loot on this one. Henry's Rock is next, a tricky all looter due to the frantic nature of the last parts of the heist, but it can net you close to $9.5 million if you make it. Now we hit the 10 million club, starting with Watch Dogs. Shift all loot on days 1 and 2 and get this nice payout. First World Bank comes next. Want to really get the most out of this one and you have some spare time? Activate Overdrill with your friends and haul 70 bags of extra gold for an extra $46 million, making the total for this over $56 million if you make it. Amazing XP 2 for the time, should take you a little over an hour with the right crew. Surprisingly, Brooklyn Bank lands higher than the First World Bank by an extra $400,000, now at $11,197,000. Noki Station with its bomb pots and weapons land this one next at $11.2 million. Another bag mover's dream is next with a golden grin. Shame it's only cash we're hauling here, as gold would have boosted this by a lot. The main loot is only $500 also, totaling $11.4 million for your bad bag. Brooklyn 1010 is next. Get Sharon out and get a nice $11.4 million payout with all loot secured. San Martin tips us over the $11.5 million mark here. Grab all the deposit boxes if you want more, but there's a lot, so a saw may be needed. Lab Rats and its stupid half meth. A heist you can stick around on, but let's be honest, not many do. Grab an extra 4 bags of this one and get over $12 million. I don't see many players doing this on this heist, to be honest. Frame in Frame is a 3-day marathon. Get all paintings, all money bags, all gold, and the wine. 12.595 million. Oh, and a sweet 25% stealth bonus if you do it all stealthy. Lug-in big heavy safes does not sound like fun. Would you do it for $12.9 million? Yeah, me too. Aftershock is for you and for me then. Stealing Christmas sounds like a fun thing to do. Lob all your loot bags at a huge Christmas tree and walk away with a tidy sum of $13 million. The diamond has the highest individual loot item in the game, and grabbing all of the others scattered around the McKendrick Museum will expand your pockets by $13.4 million. Shadow Reload or Meltdown is a high one here, but grabbing all loot on this can be a pain. If you're willing, the game is willing to pay. Now slightly over $13.5 million for nukes and all the other regular loot. Slaughterhouse is heisting around dead pigs. If you like dead swine, or even if you don't, you'll like $13.69 million, I bet. Thank God this one pays a lot because it sucks. The Bomb Forest will reward you $13.7 million for tilting your head for 15 minutes. Boiling Point feels like an easy payday. Scan all bodies and beef up the server to give you $4.6 million and then take home over $14 million in total. Panic Room has a big toothbrush on the map. Grab this and clean up. You'll be smiling with the $16.5 million all the way to the bank. NABU NAGA. The Heist XP was shattered years back due to ECM rushes, but the value of loot remains. Grabbing all loot, including NABU NAGA, will sneak you out of there with a nice little nest egg of over $17 million. Beneath the Mountain has some safes to crack in order to get this payout, but it's worth it for $17.3 million. Not too shabby for heisting under a mountain. A lot of players' favourite is next. Hoxton Breakout has no securable loot, but shares the highest contract payout there is at $17.5 million. Also clearly doubling as its overall payout. Goat Sim. Ooh. Landed really high, shares the same high contract pay as Hoxton Breakout, but you get to sling goats and get some reward for those little suckers, an extra $115,000 for the animals. Shacklethorn Auction is not a good heist for XP as it rewards nothing extra per bag secured, but it is worth it for the backbreaking securing of all bags for cash. We now land over 18 million if you take everything. The final and grandest of the transports is Train. Grabbing that turret, sentry, turret, and every ammo bag which you have to do anyways, grants you 18.3 million. Choo choo! Say hello to my little friend.
That's what she said.
Scarface Mansion leaps to over $19 million now, mainly due to its huge contract pay of $12.6 million. Top 10 now and the big bang. You're going to need all deposit boxes open to maximize this loot, and if you do, $19.3 million is a good chunk of change. Who would have thought that the bomb dockyard would have made top 10? Not me, but when you remember there's a meth lab, it makes sense. A bag of meth in Payday 2 is king at $2.99 million on death sentence, so cooking all the ingredients on this map soars the payday of this to over $21 million. Big oil and it's big money. Again, a tie for the highest contract pay at $17.5 million. Grab all the loot on day one as it spawns and take home a mighty $22.4 million. Firestarter is another 3-day beast and rewards you solidly for your time and effort. Take everything you can on days 1, 2, and 3 to drool over the $24.1 million in your bank account. Meth does its work again on Border Crystals. Secure the necessary and 4 more and you'll walk away with more than $24.4 million. The bike heist and the stupid futuristic helmet on day 2 do its thing here. Grabbing everything you can out of the bar on day 1 and sadly having to lug back and forth on the train on day 2 may be a pain, but damn, $24.6 million sure is a lot of cash. Shit, buy your own damn train with that. Cook-Off, the go-to for everyone's money recommendations. At $2.99 million per extra bag of meth, this is your grinding heist for cash, but it does take a while for each bag to get finished and request more ingredients. This payout again includes the 4 extra over the regular secured loot, but $27.2 million is a hell of a total. Now we're into the top 3, and can you guess? Rats is next. The heist with the highest XP, if all bags are secured, do the same and receive $27.8 million as well as all that XP. All 3 days will take you some time, probably a similar time to the 4 extra bags on Cook-Off, so it's kind of feeling balanced here. Number 2 surprised me, and it's Border Crossing. Almost 40 bags of loot on this one to grab. It will take you some time, but damn, look at that reward. $34 million is crazy. Shame the heist sucks. And the number 1 spot thankfully goes to an also amazing XP and an amazingly fun heist, Hotline Miami. Another meth variant here, and although you don't always get the maximum amount of ingredients each time you play, if you do, you can cook your way to $36,170,000. An insane amount of money for just one heist, and a heist you will enjoy playing over and over again. Okay, well there we have it, a full rank list of heists and their respective payouts. Hopefully you stuck with me through the whole video. Make sure you leave me a comment below saying underpants so we can clearly confuse onlookers who didn't watch to the end but did browse the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.